Today is 2nd June 2026, and we are hearing the breaking news that break all borders concerning nnamdikanu's illegal detention. I wonder what will be going on James Omotosho's consciousness at this moment now, and of course what is actually happening in Asurong. I'm hearing there is serious tension currently now in Asurong. But before we move on, and I want to give you a total breakdown on the ultimatum coming from the US Congress, championed. Of course, they will learn that it was James John who actually moved the motion, and it was acknowledged by the congressmen of the United States of America. Finally, nnamdikanu gets international, intervention. But this was, let me give you the breaking of the news as I read from international, media who actually reported that, yes, nnamdikanu U.S. Congress asked Secretary of State to engage Nigeria government. You can understand what that actually means. nnamdikanu U.S. Congress asked Secretary of State to engage Nigerian government over nnamdikanu's matter. The United States Congress has asked the country's Secretary of State to engage the Nigerian government on the trial, conviction, and imprisonment of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. The development followed a resolution passed by the Congress on May 22, 2026. A copy of that resolution was also made public in different media houses across the globe. The resolution numbered HRES 1321 followed a motion by Congressman James John. James, in the motion, asked the Congress to call on the government of Nigeria to ensure that all legal proceedings involving Kanu are conducted in full accordance with Nigeria's constitutional obligations and international human rights commitments. The motion also goes on. Kanu, that's to give you a brief history of what actually transpired. Kanu was on November 20, 2025, sentenced to life imprisonment by an Abuja Federal High Court presided by James Omotosho, following his conviction on terrorism charges filed against him by the Nigerian government. The IPOB leader is currently serving the life sentence in Sokoto prison. Kanu and his lawyers had kicked against the judgment delivered by James Omotosho in terrorism trial, arguing that his conviction was based on repealed laws. The pro-Biafran activists had filed an appeal to challenge his conviction, but hearing in the suit is yet to commence. In the resolution adopted by the United States Congress, U.S. lawmakers asked the Nigerian government to ensure that Kanu's trial is conducted in compliance with constitutional obligations and international human rights commitments. U.S. Secretary of State was asked to engage the Nigerian authorities on the matter, as well as issues relating to Kanu's detention conditions. Kanu and his representatives had frowned at his detention in the Sokoto prison, citing distance to Abuja, where his appeal is expected to be heard. They argued that the distance could undermine the preparation and presentation of the appeal. Concerns were also raised about the IPOB leader's safety in the prison located in the seat of the caliphate. The U.S. Congress specifically asked the Nigerian government to consider a report on Kanu's detention by the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention and take appropriate action on the findings. the resolution read. I want to tell you, the resolution according to US Congress, what they actually agreed. Immediately, the lawmaker James John moved that particular motion that that is shaking the ground at the moment now. Calling on the government of Nigeria, that's the resolution. I'm reading the resolution of the US government concerning Nnamdikanu's case, calling on the Nigerian government to ensure that all legal proceedings involving Nnamdikanu are conducted in full accordance with Nigeria's constitution's obligations and international human rights commitments. Whereas Nnamdikanu is a political figure known for advocating on behalf of communities in southeastern Nigeria. Whereas Nnamdikanu has publicly expressed his views regarding political self-determination, governance through speech and advocacy. Whereas concerns have been raised regarding the circumstances of Nnamdikanu's apprehension in Nairobi, Kenya in June 2021 and his subsequent transfer to Nigeria. Whereas questions have been raised by legal observers and international bodies regarding whether his transfer complied with applicable legal standards and international obligations. Whereas the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, in an opinion issued on July 2022, found that Nnamdikanu's detention violated international human rights obligations and called for his release and the provision of remedies. Whereas courts in Kenya have issued rulings concerning the legality of Nnamdikanu's transfer from Kenya to Nigeria. Whereas concerns have been raised by human rights organizations regarding due process, access to counsel, and conditions of detention. Whereas prolonged detention without adequate medical care raises concerns, serious humanitarian concerns. Whereas the detention of freedom of expression, fair trial, rights, human treatment of detainees are fundamental principles recognized under international law, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Whereas the United States has a long-standing commitment to advocating for the protection of human rights and rule of law globally. And whereas the United States has previously engaged diplomatically in cases involving individuals detained abroad where credible concerns of wrongful detention exist. Now, therefore, be it resolved, that's an ultimatum, that the House of Representatives calls on the government of Nigeria to ensure that all legal proceedings involving Nnamdikanu are conducted in full accordance with Nigerian constitutions, urges the government of Nigeria to carefully consider the findings of the United Nations Working Arbitrary Detention and to take appropriate steps consistent with those findings. Encourages the government of Nigeria to ensure that Nnamdikanu has consistent access to legal counsel, necessary medical care, and etc. Encourage the Secretary of State to engage with the Nigerian government regarding concerns related to due process, detention, conditions, and respect for human rights, and reaffirms the commitment of the United Nations to protect of human rights, freedom of expression, and the rule of law worldwide. That's the ultimatum, that's the resolution of the US Congress concerning Nnamdikanu's matter. What that actually tells people where all over the world concerning Nnamdikanu's case, that finally, the US government officially has stepped into the Biafran struggle. Kudos to Nnamdikanu, because from what we are hearing, any moment from now, he will be officially moved under the order of Trump from Sokoto prison to Abuja. Then that will trigger his immediate release. And like I always said before, in preparation for the recognition of Biafra by the United States of America and Israel, Nnamdikanu will be unconditionally released. And if they fail to release Nnamdikanu, then they will attract external force. And that is what we are trying to assess and look at it from different perspectives, with Nigeria being able to stand what is about going to happen. There have been several prophecies concerning Nnamdikanu's continued detention in Sokoto, and the revelations has continued to show that what leaders are definitely going to intervene on the Biafran issue. So what it tells you now that the United States government has concluded on the Biafra struggle, and that the only person that is entitled to handle the instrumentality of the Biafra recognition, documentation, or whatever structure of power will be handed over to the IPOB leader, and he cannot receive the instrumentality of recognition while in detention. So, and that is the perspective of the United States government. And they may not come out openly and tell you, but they have mandated the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, to immediately, do the needful. So, from what we are hearing, it looks like Nnamdikanu has been moved out of Sokoto prison to Abuja, and he might not likely going to face any appeal with the U.S. intervention currently now. Nnamdikanu will be released, and the world leaders will prepare him for the handing over of the Biafran government to take off immediately.
But with that being said, according to what the Congress are saying, they said Nnamdikanu has been given freedom, by the Kenya government. They said the Kenya government finally accepted that they were wrong as regards his illegal, movement from Kenya to Nigeria. And at the same time, let's not forget that the UN Working Committee gave an order in 2022 for the Buhari-led government to release Nnamdikanu. With all this now, do you not think is swinging in favor of Nnamdikanu and the Biafrans?
Yes, let me tell you, Nigeria is going to pay 500 billion pounds to compensate Nnamdikanu for that, criminality that was clearly done. And I think that the Kenya government is also preparing, to pay damages. But Nigeria, as I speak to you now, any moment from now, their properties all over the world will be confiscated because they violated the international law that guarantees and that governs the Commonwealth nations. So there are a lot of penalties they are going to go through in that regard. But the U.S. government know that there were serious violations, disobeying United Nations order on arbitrary committee on human rights. Not only that, they also violated the international law by engaging themselves in extraordinary rendition. So, in all ramifications, and the world have come to see that Nnamdikanu was not a terrorist, has been labeled by the Nigerian government. And then that's why the US government is asking questions. How come that this judgment get to this point? And what law did you actually, invoke in trying to, create this pandemonium surrounding Nnamdikanu's case? And that is what we are hearing now, that it's likely that James Omotosho might no longer be allowed to practice anything that has to do with law in Nigeria. And we are hearing also that the World Court organization are ordering that his certificate and air license of everything about him should be confiscated. So it is a clear sign that it was a tailored, manipulated, judgment that has no jurisdiction legally to stand anywhere in the world. But that is not what the US are trying to pass. That's not the message they are trying to pass. These are one of the things I've always maintained on this platform, and that is why I took my time to read the official press release from the United States government, so that you understand that, over the videos that we have done on this platform, and we keep on telling you what is working, how these things are going within the Washington DC, within the Oval Office, and what the senators are doing in that regard, what the lawmakers are doing in that regard. And you can see, just recently, the narrative has just changed, and there is massive panic. If Nnamdikanu is released, what will be the fate in Aso Rock? Would Nigeria survive the president of the supreme leader, IPOB? Because he has so much, to unveil concerning what actually transpired. Those of them, like in my previous, those of them who were all about saying all manner of things about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of them, I think it has come to the point that they need to question themselves, that the world has recognized Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as one of the foremost intelligent civil freedom fighter the world has ever produced. And you can see it very clearly. We are, even before now, during the public hearing, there were a lot of people were saying that this matter was concluded on May 26, and the official press release took place today, June 2nd. So, in commemoration with the Biafran Day, because I used to tell people that officially, when Odumegwu Ojukwu consulted the Eastern Mandate, the Eastern Union, as they were being called as at that time, the issue of Biafra was concluded on May 26th. Then on May 30th, then he officially proclaimed Biafra as a sovereign nation. On the same May 26th, where there was a resolution that this is a nation that has come to be, that was the same date the US government concluded within the Congress that the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to receive international intervention. We don't know whether it was because of the reality on ground. And the same thing we're expecting to happen to Mazi Simon Eba in Finland any moment from now, because it has become very clearly that they did not violate any law that can actually trigger their detention and arrest in the first place. So Finland already is in trouble, and of course we are going to talk about that in one of our next videos. So you got to find out actually what is going to be Simon Ekpa's fate any moment from now. But as I'm talking to you now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has gotten a superior. I told you, I always say it, that he has come to the point that a superior force is definitely going to intervene on issues surrounding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Biafran struggle. They are taking it bit by bit. They have been sending signals to US government, to Nigerian government, but unfortunately, they do not care because they feel that all the billions they have pumped into the lobbying of the lawmakers, they have actually compromised. Most of them might have compromised, but I can tell you that it has gotten to that point that Donald Trump mandated the Secretary of State to carry out a clinical, a surgical move to get Mazi Nnamdi Kanu freed from Sokoto prison. But I think they are already preparing their whether Nigeria still have what is it called, the Nigerian jet or presidential jet or presidential whatever they call it. They are going to send it to Sokoto there, and they are going to remove Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Sokoto, and that is what we are hearing. That is already in Abuja, based on the US decision that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released. And the reason why we are seeing this thing this way it is now is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only person that is going to receive the honor of the Biafran recognition as a sovereign nation for a proper takeoff as a nation. So I can tell you that Biafra has finally made it come.
What do you make of this Sokoto Caliphate with this news? A lot of people are saying the Sultan is sending delegates to visit Nnamdi Kanu, knowing the fact that any moment from now, Nnamdi Kanu will be leaving the Sokoto to Abuja. Do you think that the Sokoto knows that the US have what it takes to finally get Nnamdi Kanu out of detention?
They wouldn't have doubted that if not that they are being blindfolded by their primordial ambition, or a primordial thought, thinking and arrangement and plan and plot whatever you will call it. They didn't see it coming. They thought it was just a mere, rhetorics, and that is why nnamdikanu, they all planned to see how they were going to visit him. When the news actually broke that Sultan of Sokoto is actually lobbying nnamdikanu and to allow Nigeria to remain one, because nnamdikanu is going to decide whether Nigeria will remain one or not. So you can see how the table have just turned against this evil, system that we actually found ourselves into. And that is what we are talking about. We keep on saying it. We call on Rally Moore, we call on Ted Cruz, yes, and of course the top US congressmen to look inwards and understand there's no need of trying to spread or advocate for Nigeria unity when they know very clearly that there's no how we can continue to cohabit with those who have sworn an oath to destroy anything that has to do with infidels. And when I'm talking about infidels, you know what I mean. Those who they feel that does not share the same orientation and faith with them. And that is why Nigerian Christians are being murdered on daily basis. And that is what that declaration actually mean. So if you see the northern elders, on the run, there's emergency everywhere. The northern governors are meeting. The traditional institutions are meeting. There is heavy gathering in Asuro currently now. What do we do if Mazen nnamdikanu is being ordered now by the superior force? I don't know. Is Bola Tinubu going to say no to Trump? Is Sultan of Sokoto going to say no to US Congress? And this is just not coming out from just an ordinary nation. It's coming out from the worst soul. What I mean, soul, number one superpower. So I don't know how Nigerians are going. The Nigerian government is going to say no to that. I don't know how Bola Tinubu is going to say no to that. I don't know how the caliphate is going to say no to that because of crude oil. You are begging Mazen nnamdikanu that he should consider the unity of Nigeria because of crude oil. I do not understand that, because he owns most of the oil wells, in the Niger Delta, which they actually created. There's nothing like Niger Delta. It has never happened. Even South South, there's nothing like South South. When Ojukwu declared Biafra on May 30th, there was a consultation. That consultation included the Ejo, the Efik, the Ibibio, and all the ethnic nationalities that made up the clan of the Republic of Biafra were consulted by Odumegwu Ojukwu. Ojukwu did not just decide it on his own. It is what the people wanted because of the situation on ground. You can see the BBC documentary. It's already out. The BBC documentary is already out. And what are they saying in that documentary? They are still telling you the same thing, that there were violations of their buri. And that violation was carried out by Gowon because he felt that he will continue to obey the British government. I want to see clear now what the British government are going to do. King Charles already, Trump have told him in the last visit when he visited United States, I told you that Trump have told him that you cannot stop Biafra from coming. And that there's a clear message. The same thing, Benjamin Netanyahu also passed a direct message. So you need to watch this video and understand that there's no need for panic. God is involved in the struggle to liberate his own people. As simple as that. There's no two ways about it. And I thank God for Mazen nnamdikanu's resilient spirit. He never compromised. He set his eyes on the ball. And I think it has gotten to the point now that it is definitely going to favor him. What Nigerian government and the Sokoto Caliphate are trying to do at the moment is that when this guy is finally out from this thing, what will become the fate of Nigeria? So everybody should prepare it. I keep on saying it. Nigeria is not one. Nigeria are ethnic loyalists. That's what they have. They believe in the ethnicity. They believe in ethnic loyalism. Let me just use that word like that. So there is nothing like nationalism in Nigerian agenda. So the jinx has been broken. And I think from there now, nnamdikanu going to address a world press conference immediately after all this documentation take place, and is going to tell the world why the global community, the international community, European nations, the Western powers, the African Union, if they still exist, and of course the unfortunate United Nations Secretary General, will also be in that gathering, while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will raise the flag and address the world about the coming of Biafra. And that is what the US government is projecting. So if you see the Sultan of Sokoto running from pillar to post, a land that is already in Imo State, trying to consult Igbo leaders in that regard to see what is going to happen at the end of the day. Can they not survive without the Igbos? Can the Yorubas survive without the Igbos? Can they also forget that they have natural resources in the north? The Yorubas also have their own. If they don't have, they should go and take.
So they have. You feel they can survive without the Biafrans?
Didn't we survive the Biafra war? Were they not enjoying themselves? They were enjoying themselves. We survived it. So if we can survive that bombardment, then they should also, they say necessity is the mother of invention. And if they cannot do that, then we open a diplomatic channel with them where we'll sign trade and commerce treaties, and of course see how we can capitalize on that to move on. And that is what it is. We are not going to severe relationship. The Biafra government will be, nation will be open to the international community in terms of business and commerce. So anybody is interested will be involved. But I can tell you, just like what the US government is saying, is that they want an ally from Africa. And the only ally they are looking at now is Biafra.
Thank you very much.